Said the beast inside he is gonna get ya,
So how
yeah.
you doing, Ben?
It's good, man. It's been a weird 6 7 weeks, man. So yeah, it's been weird. How about you, man?
Been nursing this cold, man. Keeps going in and out. Just trying to
Yeah,
totally get rid of it.
yeah. You sound good, and your spirit seems good, bro. So
Oh, it is. And a great
good.
album we're going to talk about, October Rust.
Fucking a, man.
And the thing I love about this album and the reason I wanted to do this album is everyone associates Typo with Bloody Kisses. And if I think if it wasn't for the success of Bloody Kisses, October Rust would have never happened. It gave Pete the liberty to put a different style out there and to also put some more of his personal feelings into the music.
Sure, sure. Yeah, no, it's an amazing follow up to an amazing album. It wasn't until I was a little bit older in my life that I realized how just ironic and satirical that these guys can be. And I
Yes.
remember listening. I remember getting into them really early, man. I was probably, I don't know, seventh grade or so, and no one had ever heard of them before. And I just randomly discovered them, which we'll talk about when we get to "Love You to Death." And everybody thought it was like, dude, these guys are so satanic and gothic and everything. And it wasn't until later on in adulthood that I realized they're just ironic. And I mean, this album is chock full of it too, man.
Oh, absolutely. Even at the very beginning with the hum making you think you got a bad CD copy.
Yeah, that's the worst thing you could do as a musician to a musician.
Yeah, and and then as far as they introduce the album, and even in the end when they part with the album, it shows just the humor in the band, and that it isn't all that serious.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, they're serious musicians, but they're not serious folk. And I mean, and it's
Right.
glaring just by especially 30 years later, looking back and going, "Good God, I miss them. I miss the hell out of them. I miss all of them, man."
And then we come into the track, Love You to Death, and it's a total lets you know right away you're not going to hear Bloody Kisses Volume 2.
Yeah, yeah. I'm actually doing an acoustic rendition of this song that I discovered by accident one day, and so now I'll be doing it as part of my acoustic live set. But this is one of the songs that got me into Typo Negative, and there was a video game that came out for a computer called Blood, Blood, back in probably '96, right after this album came out, and it came with a video to this.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah, it was killer, and I just remember how mesmerized I was. It his, it Pete's timbre in his voice, and just how almost like magical the song was.
Yes. And it and what I love about it is the piano intro is just so beautiful and
Oh, it's
works so
gorgeous.
well with the song.
Yeah, yeah, it's gorgeous. And I will say a lot of this album does remind me, but this song specifically reminds me of. It could be on an '80s movie. Labyrinth is the one that comes to my mind.
Mm.
It's just very almost kind of just I don't know, fantasy magical type stuff.
Yeah, and I think when I hear this album too, it also brings back memories of I used to really, and I still do, really like the band Him a lot. And there's a lot of similarities between the two bands.
Yeah, very goth pop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in going into the track afterward, Be My Druidness, definitely has that goth feel. I think this track could have been a single as well. They never released it as one, but I thought it could be one.
Yeah, this is a song that I remember hearing it for the first time. I had this album in the '90s, whatever, and this is probably at the time one of my least favorite tracks. But now I find myself, and I can't do it. I can't get my voice that deep, but I'm constantly going around saying, "Be my druid," and rolling my R's and shit,
Yeah.
And we do it up at work all the time. We sing this album a lot up at work, and yeah, it's a good song, man. But it unfortunately just kind of had to grow on me. But I mean, it's a strong contender for one of my tops on this album.
Yeah, I just when I hear it, it just always I'm like you, I get stuck in my head and I can't get it out. And to me,
Oh
when
yeah,
that happens, I'm like, man, this could have been one of them singles from this, just
yeah.
because of that sheer fact. It
Hmm.
had that commercialism. Then we go into Green Man, the song about the man himself. Pete was such a nature lover, loved the outdoors, loved the woods and everything about it. As you know, always green guitars, always green everything with typo. It was his thing.
Yeah, yeah. Pete, years later learned that how big of a cat lover he was also, and of course, yeah, the green guitars, man. I've been on the hunt for years for Kenny Hickey's signature Schecter, man. That he's
Mhm.
got us in like it's typo green, but it's basically the Lambo green. I think is what they actually sell it as, whatever. But no, it's not. It's not the same thing. I'm thinking of somebody completely different, whatever. But Kenny Hickey's got a really badass green Schecter that he's played for fucking over 30 years. And yeah, it's no, going back to it, man. Yeah, it's crazy how big of a gentle giant
Yeah,
Pete was, man. And he was, I think, by a lot of people misunderstood. Um, Despite him coming out and being so boisterous about how he felt about things and giving zero fucks, he was
right.
also seemed like one of the most tender motherfuckers you'd ever meet.
Yeah. You always knew that what he was giving you was exactly what he felt. He didn't care.
Yeah, you can't fault anybody for that. You're getting it all, man.
And then we come into Red Water. And this song is really lyrically is touching because, especially when he said, last Christmas there's 11 and now there's seven sitting here. And that resonates, I think, with all of us, a feeling of loss, especially during the holidays. I think that's why a lot of people get depressed because they see people they love that have passed.
Sure, yeah, it sucks. It sucks having your family and friends and your circle dwindle, and why not write a really sad fucking song about it?
And I think he put his own spark into it and giving it that Christmas feel, but yet saying it to almost a funeral dirge type background.
Yeah, it's very dirgy. It very very much so.
And then we go into
My girlfriend's
that's
girlfriend.
right, the
Yeah,
single. How could I forget?
yeah. Well,
It's a it's a great tune. Um, I think it I don't know if I like the placement of that track in this album in the mix, but it had to go somewhere. I just don't know if this was the place because you're bringing it in between two somber tracks, and I don't know if it really is cohesive.
yeah. I don't know if it was intentional or not. Just knowing how they operate and if they're trying to lull you into a false sense of security to where I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely my least favorite track on the album. There again, the older I get, the more I like it. But yeah, it is very very much a weird placement.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's almost feels to me like it was a track that could have been on Bloody Kisses.
Yeah, for
More
sure.
so
And
than because like Bloody Kisses is like the evil stepfather, and this is
yeah.
the gentle side of typo,
Oh, for sure.
and then we come in to Die With Me. And this track, one thing I love about it is one thing that I like throughout the album is that the way that it flows, and except for like I say, like songs like My Girlfriend's Girlfriend, but I love that the way the melody and the signatures all seem to align with each other. It's not trying to be totally elaborate. The guitars aren't made to just shred, but they provide so much when they're involved. And I think this track really speaks to that.
Yeah, and that's listening to it a little bit ago before we jumped on. That's one of the things I always noticed about this album that I've never really put at the forefront of listening to it is that all the tracks are very kind of encompassing and derivative of each other.
Hmm.
Similar riffs, similar, you know, chord progressions and directions and stuff like that. You know, almost like as if it's all kind of part of a theme, which I guess it kind of is, whatever. But yeah, you're exactly right. They and they're not. That's one of the good things. That's one of the things rather that I miss about especially the '90s is how you didn't have to noodle all over the guitar to get your point across and to make
Sure.
when Kenny plays, man. I mean, he'll hold a note for fucking 20 seconds, and you feel every second of it. And you don't have to be a virtuoso to wow people. And these guys are living proof of that. Especially with this album too, how long Doomy and just chugga chugga chugga. Some of the riffs take forever to get through, and you don't ever get bored with them.
Right. And I think it goes with if I was to say the overall theme of this album is dealing with loss, whether it's loss through death or it's loss of a loved one or someone who just breaks up with you and says, fuck off. It's all about loss in one way or another.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we come into Burnt Flower Falls, and some people and a lot of people find this track to be like the throwaway track because it's repetitive and it's just goes over and over. But I think it's a great tie-in with the album. It in doing I think it was done so purposefully, to get you into the mode for the next track.
Oh, I didn't think it was a throwaway track at all. I mean, yeah, I felt obviously I think, we just talked about my girlfriend's girlfriend. That was
Yeah,
kind of that one felt I think more out of place than any of them. I
sure.
don't think this one was I think this is a good prelude to the next song coming up,
Yeah,
so it's I felt it was almost very necessary. So if they'd have left this out, this album would have been October Rust like we know it for sure.
right. Absolutely. I feel exactly the same way because the next track is basically to me like the opus of this album. And it's 8 minutes track that really ties in everything we've been through so far about loss, about and musically it's just to me it's the standout track musically.
Yeah, and I mean, Pete loved wine from my recollection and from what all the stories I've heard. So, I mean, why not throw in some Bacchus and Dionysian, love as well,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, my wife listens to this one quite a bit too. Well, and I'm not even shitting you. Next time we're in the drive-through, I'm gonna take a fucking video because she's gonna put it on the song while we're sitting in the drive-through after we order some hamburgers. Every fucking time. Yeah, it's either this or fucking Drunk in Paris. I'm not, or that's off the Life is Killing Me or whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, she's constantly got this fucking track on.
And then we come into Cinnamon Girl, and I love the fucking twist that they made this song their own. It's not a
Yeah,
copy of Neil Young's song at all. You know,
yeah.
structurally, yes, but they gave it their own flavor, and I love this version of the song.
Dude, I listened to a Deep Purple cover of theirs last night, Highway Star. That was from 2002, and maybe it was just the speaker quality I was listening to it on. It didn't sound that good, but them putting their own twist on stuff, they were always so good. Obviously with Summer Breeze, Sills and
Mm,
Croft, man. I remember hearing that for the first time. And I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And I remember my dad heard it, and he goes, "Well, that's Sills and Croft song. They bastardized it." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" They fucking played it awesome. I mean, it was. I
yeah,
remember watching on the big screen with the movie "I Know What You Did Last Summer." That was the intro song for it, and yeah, they've always done really good at taking a song and then drop tuning the guitars just so low and just drawing them out, and they do such a good job of that, man. Such a good job. Yeah, it's a good song.
yeah, and I just think that if you listen to them back to back, you listen to a young version and this version. To me, it's like just wow. I
Yeah,
would never have thought to do it this way, and they did it just amazing.
yeah, it's good. And it's funny. It's kind of like it took me years to really appreciate this. I ended up getting this song. I think it was a remix of this song actually on like a compilation CD or a soundtrack. I can't remember what the heck it was for. I want to say it was for like maybe a video game, maybe Duke
Mm.
Nukem video game, in the late '80s, and that remix really turned me off to this song. But over the past 20 years, I've really learned to love it, a lot. And man, this is such a good album, man. I'm glad we picked this, dude.
And as a guy from Texas, I gotta ask you, what's your
Yo,
opinions on Neil Young?
I don't have an opinion on Neil Young, man. I was listening to him last night, and I don't know. Do you want me to separate art from artist, or I don't know. People just, and I'm one of them. I can be very political about shit. Just shut the fuck up, you know.
Yeah.
I don't really have an opinion, to be quite honest. And not about him. I've got plenty of opinions about all kinds of shit, whatever. But that's
Well,
so
did
far
you
out
see
of.
like Southern Man as an insult?
I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about.
Oh, Laird Skinner wrote Sweet Home Alabama because of the song Southern
Oh yeah,
Man.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know they took a knock at him in that song, whatever. But I mean, uh, yeah, I don't know. I don't care. That's 50 fucking 60 years ago,
Well,
man. I don't
I was
care,
just
dude.
curious because,
Yeah. No, I know. I've heard people badmouth both sides, whatever, and I'm just like, I don't know enough about it. I don't have an opinion, you know. So, um, whatever.
and then we come into the glorious liberation of blah, 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 Vinland. But
Finland, yeah,
yeah, which is, which was like a fantasy place that was drummed up by the band.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it's just a short
It's
instrumental deal.
yeah, it's funny. This flag right here, yeah, Vinland. You know, the Vinland flag. That's why I've got it on there.
Ah,
That flag has been on numerous hate speech sites, and it's really hard to find anything about that lore that they came up with, and even that flag. You know, so it's if you look for it, you're gonna have a hard time finding it.
and then we come into Wolfman, which is another track about relations, and there's a lot of this theme going on in the album. I don't know if how much of these things are personal in nature and how many of them aren't, but man, there's a whole lot of pain on this album.
This is my favorite track on the album. It's brooding, it's
Hmm.
graceful, it's heavy, it's sad, it's happy. It's kind of a lot of stuff, and just with almost every song that they've got on this album, they put a lot of. Like I said, they're not serious folk, but they're serious musicians,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
there was nothing last minute about any of these songs in here. It was all intentional. They poured their hearts into it. I know Pete was a deeply emotional guy, and I think they all are, honestly.
Yeah.
And all the metaphors and stuff. Who doesn't like lycanthropes, right? I've got one of my good friends thinks I'm a fucking werewolf. So yeah, this is such a killer track, and it's the album's long and kind of brooding anyway, whatever, but it's always worth getting through it to get to this track.
Sure. And Haunted as well is another great track. I love the guitar on this track as well. And it's a Haunted to me is sonically just to me really settling and sells the album on a good point, and just kind of is like a summary to a story.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. I mean, this was a good epilogue type situation. It's a long song. Holy
Mm,
shit, man! I forgot. Just sitting and listening to it in its entirety, I forgot how long it was, and I love it up until it's over, and then it just goes to that last song, and but I was talking with my wife the other day after buying a couple vinyls. People don't write albums like this anymore. Even
right.
thinking fans, and they don't write it with the intention of it being listened to. Music these days, not everybody. Obviously, not everybody's guilty. People don't write music anymore like this with the intention to tell a story or a
Yeah.
common theme throughout. And I think a lot of that I'm gonna personally blame that on like this digital age to where you can download an MP3 from this artist and put it on shuffle. And like I said, this is just my opinion. If I want to listen to stuff on shuffle, I'll turn the radio on. If and I guess I'm from a generation that enjoys a good, clear, concise message from a band and supporting that band and their entire album. And I listened to this and I sat and thought about it earlier. And I'm like, man, no one writes anything like this anymore. This era is gone, and it really makes me sad. You know, obviously Typo not being around makes me sad too,
Sure.
but just the type of people, when he said, this album's someone's gonna listen to it 100 years from now, and it sucks 20 years, 30 years from now when he says, "We'll see you on tour."
Yeah.
And man, oh, that when I heard that, I was like, God damn it, that sucks. Because they could still be around. I mean, can you imagine Typo Negative in 2026?
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah,
that would be
they'd be selling
killer.
stadiums, man.
God, that would be killer, man. I mean, and I'm not talking about a Peter Stillless typo iteration, not like they're doing with Pantera and kind of going out there and whoring that crap out.
Right.
I'm a huge Pantera fan, but I can't. I just it. I don't think and it's none of my fucking business that stuff. But Pantera obviously isn't Pantera anymore, and even if they did a typo reunion show or tribute show, I hope they would only keep it in tribute form instead of calling it typo, because
Sure.
Peter still was typo fucking negative. I don't care
Oh,
what anybody
absolutely.
says. His voice, his growls, his bass playing, and just his overall imagery. I mean, the guy was fucking huge. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, it sucks, man.
And
I've been on a
and the thing that's like I say that's just amazing to me is that you listen to Blake Kisses and you listen to October Rust and you're just like my head just exploded because you have this album that's full of angst and anger and hatred and just pissed offness, and then you go to October Rust, which is on a totally different plane.
Yeah, and that's good. I feel like because yeah, I love Bloody Kisses, but in comparison to even kind of some of their later stuff, you saw maturity of the band and them not
Sure.
wanting to do the same kind of stuff. Life is Killing Me. I remember getting that for Christmas when that came out, and at the time, I don't guess I appreciated how they had gone from October Rust to that. But
Hmm.
it's still a good album, and I can't
Yeah.
remember the name of the one after that that came out in like '02 or whatever. That had I Don't Want to Be. I can't remember what the least no and the least worst of. These guys they just matured, and for my money, and I'm sure yours, they were just way too short lived.
Yeah.
But that goes to show how good they were and the impact that they had for having such few albums and such few time on Earth, that they're still remembered and just revered, 30 years later by folks like us, that miss them.
Absolutely. And also we got something to celebrate. Megadeth, Billboard Top 200, number one.
Oh, wow. No, I didn't know that. That's killer, man.
That's
Yeah.
amazing, an amazing way to go out.
Yeah, that's what my buddy Cody said. Cody. That's what Cody said is that it's a really good album, and
It is.
when I know either you or him recommends an album, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be worth my time. I hadn't heard it yet, so yeah, I'm stoked to check it out. And it sucks, man, seeing Dave Mustaine, but I mean, at some point, I would say if you can't do it like you want to, put her down.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah. I mean, they've had a hell of a run, man.
Yeah, that's just like Twisted Sister. They're supposed to have their 50th anniversary tour. Had to cancel because of Dee Snyder's health.
That's crazy. 50 years. Holy shnikes.
Yeah. It's hard to believe it's been that long since, like, was their first one Under the Blade, I think, wasn't
Dude, I, I hate talking about shit like this because then I start feeling old.
it? Right?
God damn.
But yeah, it's just yeah, I was so happy for Dave to finally get the claim he deserved, for all this time. and to have a number one on Billboard is just
Yeah.
amazing for him.
Yeah, Dave's been one of those guys you love to hate type situation. Um, Controversial, mouthy, um, ego bigger than you know it can fit through a door, but he's always been able to back it up,
Yeah,
and he's always had good music, and I mean he's overcome addiction, and he's overcome not being able to use his hand and arm, and then having to relearn how to play guitar, and that's super cool as shit, you know. I'd say he caught a second wind and was extended some grace, and I think he ran with it, and I hope he gets to live the rest of his life in peace and knowing that he accomplished a lot and making a lot of us really happy.
yeah. I've always considered him. I always nicknamed him the Riff Master. He just
Oh
always had
yeah,
an amazing way of coming up with some of the craziest riffs ever, and just sounding amazing.
yeah, and as metalheads, even if you don't like either one of those bands, it's always kind of fun to hear the drama between them and Metallica
Sure.
all the time. I mean, it's just it's fun. I wrote
Sure.
this, you know. No, so it's
Yeah.
just shut up and fucking play music. God damn.
And he does you haven't heard the album, but you'll hear um Ride the Lightning, Dave Mustaine's version of it.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it was all kind of Dave anyway. But that's just my opinion, you know. So
Yeah.
he's always been been a metal cultural influence, and there again, though, he's one of those that you love to hate. You know, it's like
Yeah.
he's definitely not my favorite, but I wouldn't be where I'm at without Dave Mustaine. You know, I mean,
Yeah, them riffs are absolutely killer. And he's been doing them all this time. And it's just
oh yeah,
amazing. His creativity level is just unchartable.
oh yeah, and he's unstoppable. I mean, yeah, he's got a. I don't know. I don't know how people write that many goddamn good riffs.
Yeah. And I think of like the intro to Train and Consequences. You hear
Oh
it and you
yeah,
think, oh, that's nothing, but then you try to play it. And you're like,
yeah.
what the
Oh yeah,
fuck?
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
You know,
There's a lot of stuff that a bunch of covers that I was gonna try from Megadeth a while back, and I said, you know what? Fuck all of this. I can't touch Dave. I damn sure can't touch Marty Friedman's early
right.
fucking work.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff that when he had Chris Broderick on, I was like, ooh, I'm gonna check some of this out. And I said, nope, fuck this too. You know, so it's like they've
Yeah.
always. They're definitely, top shelf musicians, and love them or hate them. I mean, they're really good at what they do. They love what they do. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing it this long. And yeah, God bless them, man. God bless Dave Mustaine. God bless Megadeth and anybody that's ever been a part of them.
Well, hey, man, thank you, man, for doing another review of me, man. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, brother. Likewise, homeboy.
And you get to pick next album.
You picked it, or I just did pick this one.
You picked this one? I could have swore
Yeah.
I picked this one.
Well, we met in the
I think
middle
we
with it. I
it's
said,
a mutual.
yeah, yeah, whatever. I'm not picky, dog.
All right, I'll come up with something.
Yeah, I know you
Uh,
will.
All right, man.